man with his God-given gifts poured out to others can bless those around him and make a difference.
A woman too, with her feminine genius shared out with others, can create an impact in other people's lives. Now, imagine what both of them can do together when they allow their unique gifts and complementarity to synergize and bless others.
Now, what if we had whole families working together to bless the world? What if the blessing they brought was Jesus himself and the beauty of what he teaches? I am Aldy Katigbak.
And I'm Joy Katigbak.
Today, together with our 4 children, we'd like to talk to you about the call of our families to be evangelizers. No, it doesn't mean that all of our kids need to become priests or nuns, or that they need to become preachers in stadiums or big coliseums, although that would be nice if they can do that. Rather, just trying to live out the call to bring the love of God within the family and allowing it to overflow to those around us.
Now, what does it mean to evangelize? To evangelize is to bring the good news of Jesus Christ to others, to make His love and God's beautiful plan known by others. And by coming to know Christ, hopefully, they will also come to a personal relationship with Him and want to actively participate in the life of the church. But what does it mean to be family evangelizers? To be family evangelizers, first of all, means to be a family of evangelizers. And that means each one of us in the family is an evangelizer in our own way, in how we live our lives, wherever we may be, whether at work or in school, whoever we may be with. It should show in our lives that we have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, even when we're not saying it directly. Hopefully our lives will be lives of integrity, kindness, and self-give to others in the way we treat them, and at the same time, lives that exude joy and peace. Goodness and joy attract others, and this lets other people see that the Christian life is a joyful one. It also means that we are ready to talk to others about our faith and about Christ when that opportunity comes, and that we're able to stand up for what we believe in without shame nor arrogance.
Being family evangelizers also means evangelizing as a family. Collectively, our family should together be a light that leads others to see and to know Christ and His gospel. According to Pope Paul VI, the family, like the church, ought to be a place where the gospel is transmitted and from which the gospel radiates. In a family which is conscious of this mission, all the members evangelize and are evangelized. This means when others see our family life, hopefully they see the gospel being lived out. Through us, they witness the love of Christ made real in our relationships with one another and with others. It also means making and seizing opportunities as a family to talk to others about how great God is. We allow ourselves to become instruments for others to hear about God even more. All families, being a church in miniature, as John Paul II puts it, are called to evangelize. How can we do that as a family? You have found out that putting Christ as the center and fulcrum of family life is the key. With Christ at the center, what we do as a family emanates from our love for Him and our experience of His love for us. Because He's the fulcrum, Christ must become the most important thing in our lives and in our family. How can we do that? The letters of the word Christ stand for 6 things that can help us put Jesus at the center to help us become family evangelizers.
Okay, let's start with letter C. C stands for church and community life. And this is the way that we concretely experience God's love for us through the church, His mystical body, and through life in community. Prayer and sacraments really need to be an indispensable part of our lives, both individually and as a family. Why? Simply because we need God. We need His grace to be able to live out His will and to be able to bring Him to others. As parents, it's normal for us to check in on our kids once in a while about how they're doing with their studies or with their friends. Maybe it's also good to Find out how they're doing in their own prayer lives. Are they able to pray every day? Are they able to spend time listening to God? Not as if we are policing them or checking on school requirements, but simply just to allow them to see that we're there to offer support when needed. Life in community is also a big way by which we are both nourished and also given opportunities to serve others. Being in a community allows us to receive support in our faith journey, in the company of brothers and sisters who, like us, are striving on that road towards holiness. And for our family, this community has been the community of Couples for Christ and its family ministries from the time our kids were young in Kids for Christ, and then in Youth for Christ, and then some of them now in Singles for Christ. Being in the extended Couples for Christ community has allowed us to forge friendships with other couples and families who inspire us and who become models for us in living the Christian family life. Being in community has also given us opportunities to serve others. Sometimes as a couple, we would be called to serve in other areas, like maybe another province or sometimes another country, to be able to give talks, or sometimes just to meet with other CFC leaders and members. And this has become so common to our children that although when they were young, they would complain a lot about our regular meetings, we've seen that now as young adults, they themselves have followed suit. We've also had opportunities to give talks as a family, just like this one, and this has been an incredible blessing for us as we are able to serve together and at the same time bond with one another as we do so.
Hi, I'm Justine and I'm the third child of Aldy and Joy. So something that I've always loved about my family is how we like to do a lot of things together, whether it be having conversations at the dinner table, eating out as a family, or going out for family vacations. But something that has always stood out to me is how we like to grow together, most especially grow in faith together. Every Sunday, we like to go to Mass together as a family, and as much as possible, we make it a point to have it be the first thing that we do in the day. We also pray the Rosary every night as a family, and we offer up each other's intentions to Mama Mary. But most of all, something that I really appreciate about my family is how we like to serve together in the Couples for Christ community. So my parents are both in Couples for Christ, my older siblings are in Singles for Christ, and my younger brother and I are both in Youth for Christ, where I'm currently serving as the area head of YFC Alabang. And although I have encountered many difficulties in the service, especially because our area is very small, so it was hard to find members and to keep those members active, I remember talking to my family about it and being reminded by my parents about the true meaning of service and being a family evangelizer, and seeing how they served and seeing how my older brothers and my older sister, who were leaders before me, served. I was inspired by them, and so I wanted to continue to serve and put as much passion into it as I could. So something that I really love about my family is how we not only grow in faith together, but as much as possible, we try to share that faith with others as well through the Couples for Christ community.
H stands for heaven, which is our ultimate goal. The Katigbak family vision starts with we are family evangelizers and ends with the dream to go to heaven together. While every person in the family has his or own individual goals, it is clear that the ultimate family destiny for all of us is heaven. We should all desire to be saints, and as a family, we try to support each other to be one. This means that everything we do as a family, beginning with the day-to-day routines such as washing the dishes, to special occasions like birthday celebrations in orphanages, must bring us closer to our goal of heaven. R stands for respect and responsibility for one another. Our family, just like any other family, has its share of arguments and fights. However, even if conflicts and disagreements happen, hopefully these never last, and they are always resolved with patience, understanding, and ultimately forgiveness. A relationship with each other must be built on mutual respect and being ultimately responsible for one another. We watch out for each other, we correct one another, we honor each other despite our imperfections and faults. We take time to listen, we take time to be heard.
And part of responsibility is also communication, and that's so important in the family. We need to know that in the family, we will be listened to, We can disagree, we can be honest, we can talk about sensitive issues, we can ask questions and express our opinions and still be loved and accepted. Others may abandon us, but it matters so much that we are secure that in the family, we know that we will always be loved. Being responsible for one another also means being involved in each other's lives, that we're there to support one another and to be each other's cheerleader as well as each other's worst critic, to be able to offer advice and to pray for one another. This makes Christ's love even more visible in the family, to us who are in the family and also to others whom we interact with.
Something very special about our family is our openness to one another, and I think this is seen in my relationship with my mom. So my mom and I, we can really talk about anything, whether it's a happy story, a sad story, or things that girls won't normally tell their moms about, like boys and dating. I can talk to my mom about those sorts of things. So she's always let me know that I can be honest and open to her and just go to her for any kind of concern that I have. And with this, I want to make sure that I'm also able to do the same to my siblings, especially since I'm older than them. So this is a bit easier with my sister since we have a lot in common. We have the same interests in series, and when she has problems, I know that because I'm 5 years older than her, I'm able to give her proper advice. So the struggle comes in communicating with my younger brother. Not only is he a boy, but he's 8 years younger than me, and I feel like we're in completely different generations. We always bicker and we don't understand each other very much. And I remember in particular, there was this one time that it was just the two of us alone at home, and we were fighting. We were annoyed at each other and we locked ourselves up in our own room. And when I was reflecting on what was going on, I realized that I don't think he's mad at me or that I caused the fight, and I think that there was something deeper that was bugging him. So I swallowed my pride, I went to his room and I said, "Hey, let's go out for dinner, let's talk about it." So we went to the mall, we had some dinner, and he opened up about what was going on in school with his friends. And what was nice about that was we were able to just sit down and eat with each other, and I was able to give him some advice to his problems. And after that, we tried to think of some resolutions on how we could improve our relationship as brother and sister. So I see that communication isn't something easy, but it's always very fruitful when done right.
I stands for our individual giftedness and uniqueness. Part of the beauty of family life is that each person is so unique. First of all, two people who are very different from each other come together to bring forth children who, I'm sure the same is true for your experience, even if they are raised by the same set of parents, all have different personalities, attitudes, temperament, and also giftedness. And although these differences can really be potential sources of irritation and conflict, they can also be wonderful opportunities for complementarity and collaboration, especially in the work of family evangelization.
The kids in my family are very different, and I think that's part of what makes us family evangelizers very interesting. So first is my eldest brother. He lives in the States, so he gets to see a new perspective on things. He likes to joke around a lot, and he's very smart and intellectual and logical. Next is me. I'm more of the artsy kind of girl. I'm also very, very chatty, and I'm always pretty hyper, and I love to talk. Next is Justine. She's the opposite of me, very quiet, very observant, and she's the peacemaker in our family. And lastly is Matthew. He is very in the know of the current happenings in the world. He loves to read the news, and he's very smart about those kinds of things. And when it comes to evangelizing together as a family, each of our little traits we get to put into play. So this is how our differences come into play when we evangelize. The first is Matthew. He is our youth perspective. So oftentimes my mom will ask Matthew to join her in her talk so that he can be the youth perspective and that he can give my mom feedback on what she can improve on or what she should keep doing. Next is Justine. She's the one who edits most of the videos, and because she's very observant, she also knows what are some things that we can help address in the talks that we give, and she also gives us a different perspective on the youth. Next is me. I'm very technical when it comes to visuals, to my mom's PowerPoints, to the videos that are made, and also since I'm one of the chattier ones, my mom often gets me to give talks or to do sharings for her in her talks. And lastly is my brother. He's the one who you can run any talk by, and he can help fix the grammar, make it more engaging, make it funny, add some jokes, and he also gives a very worldly perspective of things. So with all of our differences, I think it helps us be better family evangelizers.
S stands for shared experiences. Being a family means having constant companions in various stages of life. This translates into a lifetime of shared experiences with them. We acknowledge that family time is important, whether it be in the form of milestones such as weddings, annual vacations, which we fondly call Katigbakasyon, and even daily activities such as eating meals together. Admittedly, this has been challenged by the pandemic, but through our children's collective effort, we have managed to stage our own virtual Katigbak graduation ceremonies for younger children, complete with a graduation march, togas, a commencement address, and special awards. Both quantity and quality time are needed. Quality time without quantity time fails to show that the family is a priority. All quantity without quality will make us miss out on lasting memories. Shared experiences deepen family bonds, gives us a clearer insight into the minds and hearts of one another, and gives us many topics for future conversations as well as private jokes which we share.
I think one of the things that has been really important for us, really transformational for us as a family, is this idea that it's about the individual relationships that we have with each other, and it's not just about our relationship with this family, but it's about all the relationships between each person within the family. I think one of the things that I've been fortunate enough to experience within our family is this ability to really get to spend quality time with each member of our family. Remember, before I got married, I went. I took each of my siblings to a different country for a weekend, and each one, we had our own special bonding moment, doing things that I knew each one liked. My brother and I know he wanted to go to lots of amusement parks, to zoos and things like that. And with Justine, I think we went to a lot of sightseeing, a lot of art. With Nika, we ate a lot of food. So took a lot of pictures. I think it's about all these different things that we got to enjoy together. I think as a family, the other part that's important is going on trips and having shared experiences together as a family. Finding things that can, I guess, span the interest of Matthew, who is in his 16, all the way to my parents. So I think finding activities. I remember one time in Vietnam, we went to a restaurant where the whole meal was completely in the dark. So it was we couldn't see anything. Our servers were all blind, and so they were the ones guiding us. And it was something that we could all appreciate, even if across all ages, across all interests. And I remember every place we go to, whether it's just within the Philippines or whether it's international, I think there are all these moments that allow us to enjoy each other's company and to really, have these moments that we can remember and that we can look back on in the future.
And lastly, T stands for the traditions that we keep. All the elements that we've mentioned are institutionalized in the family through the traditions that we practice. The traditions, whether these are weekly Sunday lunches out or yearly vacations, the way we celebrate feast days, they all reflect what's important in our family. And they provide opportunities for us to experience Christ in each other and hopefully to also inspire us to share Him with others, especially other families.
One tradition which our family does, which I enjoy a lot, is our New Year's tradition. So in our New Year's tradition, how it works is that we go to a nice place, like a special place for our family, and then we do our New Year's routine. We've been doing this for the past maybe 6 years, I'm pretty sure. And then here we do many things. We start the night off with a little family bonding, some games, some activities, a nice dinner. And then after that, we go to the main event, which is comprised of 3 things. So first is honoring. So in honoring, that's when we say good things about each other. What good things did I like that this person did, which I really appreciated over the year which just finished. And then second is our resolutions, personal resolutions. So what can I do better? What can I improve on the following year? And then third, and which I think is the most impactful, is our family goals. So family goals is goals we set as a family, which will help bring us closer together. It can be something like, more bondings more often, or it can be something spiritual like daily rosaries, anything of the sort. So I think through this, it really helps build that unity and that sort of togetherness we have as a family. And this is why this tradition for me is, something I really like to do every year.
Another tradition that's important to us is, every summer we would go to Baguio, and we always go into the same places. We always stayed in the same place each year, so there's not a lot of variety there. But I think kind of getting into the habit of doing these things showed that, what's important is not what we're doing, but it's who we're doing it with, and it's kind of being with each other as we, celebrate this kind of simple moments and these annual things that come each year.
These 6 things: church and community, heaven, respect and responsibility, individual gifts, shared experiences, and traditions, spelled together as Christ, help us first to be evangelized in and as a family, and to concretely experience Christ's love in the day-to-day of our family life. These positively form us to live out what Christ teaches. As His love overflows in us, God allows us to be evangelizers of others as well. It is a precious gift to be called to evangelize, a high calling for which God in His goodness blesses us in order to equip us. May all our families be a light that shines in the darkness to bring the gospel to other families.
We hope you learned something from this session and that it inspires you to allow your families to be evangelizers to the world. Thank you, and we hope you have a fruitful experience in this conference.
God bless you all.